Administrator Haran sighed as he looked over the report. Another space station lost to bugs. 576 trillion credits down the black hole because some idiot didn't follow the proper quarantine rules. The station Kushtan had been a tremendous success for trade, and now he had to call in the Navy to blast the thing into space dust. Well, at least they would like the target practice. He reluctantly called for his assistants, Carl, who came into his office. Yes, Administrator! What can I help you with? And what's so secret that I have… He stopped talking as he saw Haran pour them 2 glasses of Nusha. That bad, eh? Carl sat down and took the glass. What's the occasion? Kushtan is lost to bugs. 576 trillion credits down the black hole. We have to inform the Navy and tell them to destroy it utterly. We can't send in somebody to rescue it? Who would be stupid enough to enter a bug hive? We can't even use droids. They are basically invisible to heat and energy readings, so you have to rely on movement, and their claws have venom that is corrosive to electronic. And with the amount that's there, they would fry any droids sent in, and any biodroids would just end up as food and breeding pods for these bastards. What kind of bugs are we talking about? Carl sipped his drink as to contemplating and trying to figure out a solution that didn't involve trillions of credits becoming target practice material. It's the Jacetans. You know the centipede type. They are about 3 meters long and the claws have the Sischon venom. My guess is that somebody was trying to import a few to milk them. Are they the source of that venom? I didn't know that. Well, Jacetans are a real nasty bug. But they don't destroy the lair, so in theory we should be able to exterminate them. And again, who would be stupid enough to enter that bug hive? Carl grinned. You know who. Humans! Come on, what can they do? Carl got up, went to a screen, logged into the public net, went to the ad section, and searched for bug extermination. Billions of agencies came up, mostly run by different species, and all with a qualification about the size of bugs. Rarely were any above 20 centimeters. Yeah, see? Nobody deals with 3-meter-long ones. Haran looked at the screen as Carl added one more piece of information to the search parameter. Large, lethal bugs. Suddenly, the search was only a few million, all of them human. He then ranked them for service rating. Hicks and Ripley Extermination Company. Carl skimmed through the text and gave Haran the main point. Founded 500 years ago and has over 1 million successful jobs. Promise full success or money back as long as the information given before the job is accurate. Price is reasonable, 0.05% of objects cleansed, 25% if intel is deliberately misguided. Will refund 50% if object needs to be destroyed. Using market value only. Is not responsible for small internal damage during bug extermination. They take care of the life insurance of their workers. That's good. They do accept tip. Costs extra if we want an observer with the crew. Hey! They also offer courses on how to avoid bug infestations in the future as well. Reasonable prices there as well. Haran leaned back in his chair, looking out the window at the waste space with a smirk. Goddamn humans! That would be 288 billion credits. But a hell of a lot cheaper than building a new one. What are the others? Any cheaper? Kark scanned the pages quickly. Yeah, but for the job we want, it seems even they recommend we go with Hicks and Ripley. It looks like even the Twangers use them on a regular basis. With this amount of credits, we should go for the professionals. Give them a call then. Hell, give them all the intel and hold nothing back. With some luck, it's too bad, and they have to blow it up for us. That way, we will recover at least half the loss. And if they clean it? Tip them 1 million credits per crazed idiot who ventures in, and hell, give 1 million for those who perish as well. If they are so good, then we put them on a retainer and order that course. It will save us lots of money. Remember last year? Carl shudders at the thought. Last year, they lost 3 stations to bugs, and the cost was several thousand trillion. The Federation was not happy about it, but at least they had done everything by the book. 4 weeks later, Haran looked at the human in front of him. He had expected a big brute of a man. Instead, it was a well-dressed man with short, curly brown hair and a suit. though there was something about him that made him a little nervous. Humans were such strange creatures, they looked remarkably similar to his own species, the Nalos, but unlike them, humans didn't have patterns, only one constant color. This one was slightly tanned, quite unlike his blue and red patterns. Their eyes were strange as well. This one had brown eyes, not red like his and 5 fingers. It was the one thing that separated humans from most bipedal species, most who had 4. Thank you, Mr. Ripley. I must say we are extremely pleased with the result. The Kushtan is already operational again. As promised, we have transferred the credits to your company and the tip for such a well-done job. I read the report. Let me say we are all saddened by the loss of Mr. Gong and Mr. Sanderson. Please extend our gratitude to their families. Mr. Ripley nodded solemnly. We also discovered how the bugs came in. They were on their way to a military facility, but mislabeled the actual cargo by the sender. What? I can assure you we knew nothing about it. Haran was getting nervous now. Was this a scam to collect more money or worse? Somebody is deliberately spreading bug infestation. We know we actually found the manifest and checked the security recording. It's part of our service. He handed him a memory storage unit. Here is what we found and a list of similar incidents around the sector. We are suspecting a group called Yaguhulu, but this seems to be a front for somebody else. I'm here to ask for permission to search for this group within the Federation. I know humanity just have observation status, but I have a feeling this is too important to not investigate, and my company are the experts in the field of the bug hunts. Haran looked at Mr. Ripley. Did the human just volunteer to go after a terrorist group on behalf of the Federation? That will give them full deniability if they cause trouble as they are an outsider. I will make some calls, but you might have to accept observers, perhaps a few investigators as well. There will be politics involved, but I think I can make that happen. Mr. Ripley smiled, but it was a scary smile, like he was looking forward to this hunt. Haran was glad this human was on his side. The domed city colony of Karkar was utterly silent. It had been 3 weeks since anybody had entered the hangar. It was only the automated city droid that had sent out a distress signal. Bug infestation, species xenographs, quarantine level 10. The Federation had sent a cruiser to blow the dome and let the harsh vacuum of space take care of the bugs. Captain Greyhat was hesitating. He could see the life form signals down below, and he knew that action was going to kill everybody civilian and hopefully bugs alike. The bridge was deadly quiet as they all knew what they were about to do. He took a deep breath and was about to give the order when his second-in-command called out. Incoming message from the Federation. They are delaying the destruction order. They are sending experts to investigate and deal with the problem. He turned to Shim. Experts in big bugs? Who are they sending? Humans, apparently. They exchanged glances, both confused. The rest of the crew had mixed reactions. Some were chuckling, others were groaning, and the ensign was confusingly asking, What? Who? What's the joke? Grahad turned to the ensign. Humans are a special case, not the smartest or strongest. Hell, they are pretty average on all but 3 points. They are the bravest idiot who will fuck anybody that vaguely resembles them. The worst part is that they are pretty good at anything involving being stupidly brave or giving you a good time. Partly because they will try anything, crazy bastards. There were more chuckles from the crew as the ensign blushed, as she wondered what humans looked like and if she vaguely resembles them. The navigator next to her leaned over to her. You know what they call us? She shook her head. Sexy red panda elves, we might get luckily. The jokes lit the mood of the bridge as there were several rather crude jokes being shared. Captain Grey had let them. They had, after all, almost blown up a colony of civilians. And when the signal arrived that the humans were dropping out of hyperspace, all looked out to see the human ship appear. It was not anything like they expected. It had a main hull and 2 smaller outrigger hulls that emerged from the side as they glided into view. The 2 smaller hulls were clearly hangars, and the ship was about 500 meters long. It was impressive and reminded them of a dreadnought meant to break blockades. They are hailing us, Captain. Grahad nodded, and the human bridge came into view. It was clean and clearly following military standards, though none of the humans was in uniform. Next to who he assumed was the human captain was a security officer he recognized. Vara? What are you doing here? Hello, brother, Vera smirked at him. I'm here as an observer. Captain Elizabeth Weir is taking over the operation. We need to go down there and gather intel. Please send over everything you have. I will drop over later today. You're not going down there, right? The human captain smiled. No, she is not. We are sending down one of our best, Sergeant Malcolm Reynolds and his crew. We are not allowing any pencil pusher to join us, she turns to Vara. No disrespect, sir. Before turning back to Greyhead and continuing as if nothing had been said. Down on the ground. If you want an observer, it has to be a combat-trained bastard with nerves of steel. Harad was stunned for a second, but saw his sister smile and calmed himself. This human was clearly living up to their reputation. I think we will be happy with just watching the video feed, Captain. The human captain smirked as if she had expected the answers and then nodded. No problem, Captain. We will keep you informed. Over and out. The signal was cut, and Greyhead looked at his crew as he sat down. Humans! Jack McLeod got into the dropship as Malcolm gave him a look. Really? Then shook his head at him as he sat down. Jack didn't care. How can they blame him with that Nalos woman standing there? God damn it, those aliens was sexy. Hey, shit for brains! Eyes on me! You can ask for her number if you survive this. Jack turned to Malcolm and got his game face as he was holding his helmet in his hand. The armor they wore was light, but still a little bulky. He hoped he didn't have to get into any tight places. Great, so this is a three-pronged mission. Dutch! You and your team got the fun job, make your way to the life support, but the gas in at my mark and we fumigate the bastards. Exterminate as many as you can on the way. Better they run into the big guns than the rescue teams. Sarah, search and rescue. You got as much time as Dutch can give you. Sarah grinned at the big, muscular college. Walk, don't run! I need time! Dutch and his team just grinned and started to check their rather large guns. Malcolm then turned his attention towards the three that were left. Harrigan! You take Vasks and Jack. Head to the storage area. Your job is intel gathering. Find out how these bugs got there. Expect bugs, but I have a feeling most will go to fight the crazy guy over there. They all looked at Dutch and his 5-man team. We can share if you guys want to? Hell no, you can hug all the bugs. Harrigan turned back to Malcolm. Who's the backup team? Rico. Rico? God damn it, what are they expecting down there? It's just xenographs, right? They have been there for 2 weeks, with no attempt to evacuate. Worst case scenario, we are talking about 26,000 and God knows how many kissers. So be careful. Well, at least it's not the Xenos. There was a short silence as they all agreed. The damn bugs that started this whole company had been exterminated for about 100 years now, but they all know what Grandma Ripley had fought with her partner. Dutch tried to lighten the mood as he playfully hit Jack knee. Don't worry, these xenographs are the retarded nephew of the Xenos. Just don't kiss them or you might get some indigestion. At that, they all started to laugh as the dropship made its way to the colony. Several drone evac ships followed them to help with the evacuation, but would not land before they got the clear signal. The dropship entered the hangar, and they got a first look at the damage. Inside the dropship, they were all getting ready to the tunes of Loving You is a Dirty Job, but somebody got to do it. Malcolm closed the door to the cockpit as he could stand the rather bad singing. It was a strange ritual, but if his crew liked it, then that's what they would do. The ship touched down, and he looked around at the empty hangar. The radar showed no life sign in the room, but only the emergency light were on. It left lots of dark corners to hide in. He gave the signal, and Dutch opened the hatch, singing, "It's the land of the free and easy," as the whole crew replied, "It's the home of the damned!" Malcolm kept an eye on the radar, and there was no movement. The area was empty. His crew sang with horrible voices as they set up the perimeter with alert eyes. The song stopped suddenly as they found the first victim, the rotten corpse of a Nalo man. His gut burst open from the inside and his legs half-eaten. Carlos ran over and did a quick scan of the body. About a week old, I would guess, but it's not a xenographs. Look at the size of the hole. The xenographs are smaller when they come out. We need to get more intel ASAP. Malcolm came out of the ship and made his way over to the dead body as everybody was waiting for what may be a change of orders. He looked at the scans and then over to Harrigan. Get to the command center and hack the system. Dutch, bring the whole cart. We don't know what we are using. Dutch cursed as they went to get the whole cart of chemicals and started to load them up in backpacks. This would set them back a few minutes. Malcolm looked at Sarah. Well, your jobs are the same, but we freeze them in the evac ships. She nodded, and her 9-man crew moved out. Harrigan looked at his 2-man crew and just started following Sarah. Behind them, they could hear Malcolm chewing up Curtis for not manning the ship's turret. Jack was getting nervous as they walked down the silent hallway with the crew. There was no sound besides the footstep they made. The hallways were empty with no sign of combat, at least for the first 100 meters. There wasn't much light, but he had turned the display to show biosign. Then they found 7 other corpses. Jack looked at the heads-up display on his helmet. As a written order came to switch to silent mode and turn to channel 3. He pressed the button and turned to the channel. Do you see this? 7 corpses seem to be stuck together with some sort of web. Gary, take a sample. Jack watched as Sarah's team started to work, and then Harrigan looked at him and waved him along. Channel 4, Jack! Let them work, we got our job! Aye, sir. He turned to their channel and moved after his 2 teammates. I would have thought the station would be more... You know, alien, this looks just like Saturn V. What did you expect? They are our size and shape. This is simply the most practical way of building things. Vasquez found his comment funny. They moved forward with their weapons raised and ready. None of them wanted to be surprised. I don't know, well, I guess you're right. They do resemble us. Harrigan chuckled. You seemed pretty taken by them. He just wants to find out how similar they are, Vasquez replied. Don't give me that. You want to find out too. You probably rape one of them if nobody volunteers as a test subject. Jack checked around a corner and stopped. There was something about 15 meters from him. He raised his fist as he aimed his guy at the thing. It was in the dark, and a clear biosign came from it. Harrigan quietly lined up next to him as Vasquez covered their back. We got a biosign down here. It's not moving. Harrigan called in, and they quickly received a reply from a voice they didn't recognize. We read it. Can you light it up? Jack and Harrigan looked quickly at each other as they realized something was wrong. Who were we talking to? And what exactly do you mean by light it up? Shoot it? Oh, this is Captain Greyhad, and I meant to put more light on it. Don't shoot unless you are sure it's hostile. Affirmed, sir, just out of curiosity. How much have you heard? Harrigan gave Jack a nod, and they both got ready to turn on the light to blind whatever was in front of them. We have all been listening in since you landed. Vasquez cursed as the flashlight got turned on, and a large plant that was formed as a nalo came into view. Harrigan tried to hide a laugh as he looked at the plant. False alarm, and I'm sorry, sir, for my teammate. She was just joking. It's just friendly banter to keep morale up. Just banter and not serious. I know a few of my crewmates that will be disappointed now. Yes. Vasquez stroked a pose, and Jack and Harrigan just shook their heads and started to move forward. Suddenly, they heard gunfire in the distance as the Dutch came into the open channel. I found some bugs. They are just xenographs on steroids. Hawkins is gathering a sample now. Sarah came on the open channel as well. We saw movement heading your way, Dutch, about 50. Have fun. And you're right. They are just a little bigger. Must be something they ate. Harrigan replied, Ate? Do you mean Nalos? No, they have steroids in the web. These bugs have been altered. Jack listened quietly as they made their way to what should be the control room. The door was ajar, with a dead body stopping it from closing. Harrigan gave him the signal, and he moved in and stood face to face with a xenograph chewing on a dead nalo. The bug looked like a black, oily, 6-foot-tall grasshopper standing on its hind leg. It had 4 clawed arms, whereas the 2 highest had something that could resemble fingers. He didn't give it time to react as he shot it with a short burst. Each bullet hit the chest and exploded the moment it hit organic material. The xenographs tilted its head slightly and staggered a step towards him as Harrigan put a bullet in its head. Always finish the job? Head shoot unless you got Dutch BFG. Harrigan moved past him and tried to log in on the terminal. Secure the door. I have a feeling this is our new office for a while. Jack and Vasquez cleared the door, locked themselves inside, and scanned the bodies. The poor dead bastard in the door was infected. They put a bullet in his chest to kill the larva, then they covered both of them up and started to check the room for vents and hidden bugs, not finding any. Harrigan had already logged in. Okay, it looks like we're in. I see the problem. The black box connection and upload cable are destroyed. Someone has to go into the cable shaft and fix it. They both looked at Jack as he cursed. You are the engineer, after all. Vasquez found the panel door to the cable shaft, and Jack shook his head. It's not that. The suit is too big, and I have to strip it down. Let's pray it's empty. Can't even take the rifle, only the pistol. He stared to remove his armor, and removed Spare the headset from his pack and put it on. At least it got a light attached. Imogen having to climb down into a dark place filled with monsters holding a flashlight, he preferred a pistol instead. Then, he grabbed his light tool bag and looked into the vent, turning on the flashlight. Fuck! I hate this! Hey, HQ! I need somebody who knows the layout to guide me. I'll be on channel 6. Jack holstered his pistol and a few extra clips, put the pad on his wrist and tool bag on his belt, before reluctantly climbing into the cable shaft. Hello, I was told to help you? A soft, feminine voice filled his ear, and he stopped for a second. AI or human? I don't understand. I'm not human or AI. I'm Ensign Zula. Captain Graham told me to help guide you through the shaft and help you. Jack smiled to himself as he slowly continued to move through the small shaft. I'm sorry. I'm Jack McLeod, and yes, I need your help. I can't read Nalos. Is your helmet malfunction? I don't think I can help with human tech. No, I'm in the cable shafts. The helmet will just be in the way, so I need your help. Okay, we were in the western control room, near the hangar area. I have you on screen. I'm reading your position. You need to go 10 meters straight, then there is a shaft going down. Climb down to the bottom. There is a box you need to check. Ah, thank you, Piety. The motion tracker from the helmet can't be removed. I have no idea if I'm alone here. Zula didn't know what to say. She was speaking with a human who was risking his life, and he didn't seem scared at all. Well, if it's so tight, then the xenographs shouldn't be able to get in there, right? You should be safe. If I only was so lucky, xenographs is their last stage. First, it's the egg stage. Those eggs are about 30 centimeters long. They release a kisser when they crack. It's a small flying bastard. Looks like a shaved bat with claws on their wing and a big dick. I mean a big tail that holds the actual egg of the xenographs. They insert those eggs in any opening they can manage, and then just die. The xenographs then grows inside you until it's 30 centimeter long, and then it bursts out of your stomach. By that time, you're already dead, so you won't feel anything. He stopped and looked down the shaft. He didn't see anything and had a bad feeling about it. How deep is this shaft? 36 meters? I see 3 holes. I'm guessing not important for us now? Zula had been monetarily distracted, listening to his voice. She had pulled this file and been staring at his picture. Mine? I mean shaft, yes. 36 meters. She was blushing now, and her colleague grinned at her. In a mostly redundant system, if the main gets operational, then you don't have to go step by step to fix the redundancy. Okay, not the hole I want to go down in today, but here we go. Jack smirked as he could hear her breath getting heavier. So, what do you humans do for fun? I never met one before. Zula tried her best to stay calm. Jack was climbing down slowly and was thinking of a smooth way to answer her question. But when he peeked into the first side shaft, he cursed. Fuck! Zula coughed in shock, and everybody on the bridge looked at her. Captain Greyhead quickly turned to listen into their channel. Kisser, damn it! Let's see. Does star, circle, square, square, half circle towards square mean anything? Jack whispered as quietly as he could. Zula had to think for a second. Entertainment. Why? Several shots suddenly rang out, and everybody jumped at the sound. McLeod! McLeod, are you okay? Captain Greyhead came over to Zula's desk, and she stared at the screen. Yeah, I'm okay. But they won't be watching any movies in a while. God damn it, I can see some eggs. I've got to crush them. Be right back. Jack switched to the main channel. Hey, quick question. Is their blood dangerous? I got some on me. Dutch replied between the salvos of fire. Nah, just don't drink. It might give you diarrhea. How's it going? Oh, I'm inside the cable shaft shooting kissers trying to get the system back online. What about you guys? I'm 500 from the life support. Looks like they have set up camp in the park area, so it's not too bad. What about you, Sarah? We got about 100 that we are escorting back, and there are no runaways, so this is easy. Guess I luck. Ah, fuck, incoming. Jack sighed and turned back to Channel 6. Okay, I'm back. He crushed the eggs he saw and returned to the shaft. You gotta let me know which one is the important ones, so I don't shoot the hubs. Zula let out a relived breath, and the captain walked away, turning his attention to the main operation and Sarah's ambush. I will. The next two are essential, and the last two are semi-essential, but not for the missions. So how did the eggs get in there? Fuck, there is one in here. Jack stopped and looked around the shaft, then checked his mag. He reloaded and started to move slowly downwards. What? One in there? With you? Zula was getting scared now and had a hard time breathing. Jack could hear it. Hey, easy now. I don't die that easy, beside I didn't answer what I like to do. Zula bites her lips as she hoped he had. So what do you like to do? Foo, I like dancing and polite conversa. Fuck, die, you bastard! Then several shots rang out. Jack had tried to keep himself and Zula calm as he climbed downwards, but he saw the xenographs coming out from the side shaft. It quickly climbed up to attack him. He reacted by dropping himself down on the bastard, using his left arm with its pad to protect him. The bug bit into, and they both tumbled down to the bottom. Jack was lucky and landed on top of him and pushed the pistol right to his head as he screamed and pulled the trigger. Jack! Jack! Zula didn't care that everybody looked at her as she screamed into the mic. She didn't know why she was feeling such terror of losing this human she had only just talked to. The bridge kept looking at her as the captain came over and looked at the screen. I'm afraid he is dead. No life signs, he said as he pointed at the life sign indicator. Zula tried to hold the tears back, but it was getting hard. Vasquez suddenly broke the silence. Hey, asshole! Are you dead yet? Don't make me come down there! Zula looked at the screen and she had completely forgotten about the others. I think he is dead. There are no bio readings from his suit. She tried to keep her voice calm and professional. Vasquez laughed, and she had never hated a woman so much as right now. How dare she laugh when Jack just died? Of course there is no bio reading. The reading is connected to the suit. He is most definitely alive. That bastard is a tough nut, probably just taking a nap. She could hear Vasquez banging on the wall and shouting down the shaft. Hey, asshole! We are waiting here! Your date is getting worried! Zula tried to get her head around it. The bioreader was in the suit was in the control room, and Jack had to take it off to get into the cable shaft. There was hope. Attaboy! Now get back up here, you lazy bastard! Vasquez seemed happy, and the scanner officers looked surprised. Sir, they fixed the power. We might be able to remotely access all the files now. I can also access security cameras. Should I share it with the humans? Captain Grad looked surprised. Yes, but send it to Commander Vara. I want that intel to go through her. Aye, sir. The officer sent the intel to the Commander Vera, stationed on the human ship. Captain Greyhead got a message on his personal channel right after. Thanks, bro. He smirked a little, then turned to look at Ensign Zula. She was a mess. It had been cruel to assign her to deal with the humans. She had not been vetted by war. Hell, none of them had experienced this. Listening to a soldier die pointlessly over the radio. If she gets through this, then she will reach far. If she was anything like her father, then she would do just that. One day, he would reveal to her who he was, but not today. Then a thought struck him. How did they get the power back on? He turned his attention back to the screens and the audio files as the humans kept fighting the bugs. The Dutch guy was more a monster than the bugs. On the screen, he could now see him and his crew had formed a circle around a hover cart and slowly moving forwards. Around them were piles of dead bugs as they seemed to shoot at anything that moved. They also seemed to be playing music on loudspeakers. His sister told him they were the bait. Their job was to attract as many bugs as possible. They had the heaviest weapons and heaviest armor. They seemed to be in full control of their situation. The second group was the rescue and extraction group. Armored and highly trained soldiers, the ambush from the bugs had cost them a few civilians, but they had broken through and herded the survivors towards the ships. A few of her men were injured, and he feared they would die, though they didn't seem to give up. Instead, Sarah was cursing some guy named Rico over the channel. Then somebody launched a rocket past the civilian into the bugs that were charging them, then an armored robot. No, a small mech suit flew and landed next to Sarah. Over the radio, he heard a human telling her to evac, and he and his men would cover the retreat. 4 more of these mech suits landed next to Rico, becoming a wall of bullets and explosions as Sarah and her group retreated. These humans were impressive. He turned to the third group, the intel and scouts. Their job was to go in and find out why, and according to Vara, these were the craziest of them all. Vasquez and Harrigan seemed to be poring over the computers and looking over old CCTV of the warehouse and docking. He suddenly saw a panel open along one of the walls, and a human fell out holding his side. Vasquez turned and looked at Jack as he crawled up to the wall, leaning on it as he was holding his gut. "Goddamn bug got my headset and pad! You need help, or can you fix it yourself?" Vasquez turned back to the screen. "Yeah, I can handle it. What did you guys find?" He managed to get up and got over to the armor to find the med kit. "We located the cargo, so you have to go down there and pick it up. But something is strange here. The cargo ship that landed is registered as a Gush 900 cargo ship." Jack looked confused at him as Vasquez decided to fill him in. The last 5 major jobs for the Nalos have had cargo delivered by a Gush 900. The pilot has been a Husan who is missing 2 of his 4 arms. We are searching for the CCTV of the one who landed here to see if it's the same guy. Oh, and you better let your date know you're alive. Jack stitched himself up and got back in the armor. The wound was bad, but the bug had only managed to slash his side, and the Becca cream was quickly healing it. "Okay, remind me not to do that again. Those bugs are not playing nice." Jack, you're alive? He's alive!" Jack smirked inside his helmet as he heard her reaction. "Yeah, unfortunately the bug destroyed my headset." "But you're safe, right? You got the power back? Was that you?" "Yeah, that was why I went down there. It would be pointless to go down there just to look at it. So what were we talking about?" He picked up the rifle and immediately felt a little better. Zula bit her lips and tried to calm herself a little. "Well, you were going to tell me what you like to do. The only thing I heard you say is, you know," Jackie chuckled as Vasquez sent him the coordinates for the warehouse, and he walked towards the door. "The captain is listing in, isn't he? I will try not to swear as much, sir." Zula smiled as she looked at the captain, who seemed busy reviewing the constantly updating reports. "So, you're going to be a well-behaved soldier now?" Jack gave Vasquez a thumbs up and opened the door. He left the room and locked the door behind him. "So well-behaved that you can bring me to family dinner. In our culture, we only bring our husband-to-be home to meet the family." "Oh, not what I meant. Well, I mean." He felt like an idiot now as he quietly descended the stairs and into the hallway. It was easier now that the lights were on. "So, you don't want to meet my mother?" Zula didn't know why she was teasing him. Was she actually flirting with a human? It felt strange and exciting at the same time. "Of course I would like to, but in my culture, you don't need to be engaged to marry to meet somebody's parents." He was starting to wonder what she looked like now. Probably cute, with his luck. He got the ugliest of them all. "Well, then we have to invite more. If I bring you alone, it's because of marriage, but you're just a guest if you come among friends. By the way, I heard something about you humans." "Yes?" He peeked around a corner and saw 3 xenographs eating a corpse. He slowly aimed and tagged the head of all 3. The computer locked in the targets, and he slowed down his breathing. He would have gone around, but Dutch just posted a countdown 45 minutes before fumigation. He needed to gather the evidence before that happened. Is it true humans call us sexy red panda elves? Jack could hear something in her voice, a curiosity about humanity, and he chuckled as he rapidly fired 3 headshots and waited to see if there was any reaction. "Yes, I have heard some mention that. Why? And what do you guys call us?" A single xenograph came into view, sniffing the dead corpses. He quickly dispatched that one as well and waited to see if there were more coming. We call you humans. How do you know we are sexy? And what's a panda and elf? Well, we haven't seen an ugly one yet, and a panda is an animal on Earth. They are black and white, but have similar patterns to you guys. And elves are beautiful spirits with pointy ears. You know, like you guys. No other bugs showed up, so he started to move again. How do you know I'm not the first ugly one you will see? I don't, are you? Hell, you don't even know how I look. You might run away when you look at my ugly mug. He reached the door to the warehouse and peeked inside. It looked empty, which meant it most likely was not. I have seen your picture and you're not ugly. He could hear her talk to somebody, and then she returned to him. Even Clara agrees. Oh, and there are 7 bio readings in the warehouse, one right behind your door. Do you want to be patched into the cams? Not now. I don't want my field of vision impaired. Just tell me, right or left side? Left. He moved so he could get a clean shot as he entered. He slowly opened the door and saw the bug. A quick shot killed it, and he moved in. Any movement from the others? No, they are still. I will transfer my scan to your HUD. Up in the corner of his display came a transparent map of the room with the biosignals plotted in. Thanks, so this Clara thinks I'm cute? Yeah, but she got a boyfriend. What about you? No boyfriend, not at the moment at least. What about you? Jack moved silently around the room, found the next bug, and aimed. Single here as well. Maybe we could go on a date? He fired the shot. That's 2 down, 5 left. Date? Sure, if we have time. I don't know how long we would stay here. Well, I hope at least I get to see you. He saw 2 more and took the shots. They both fell. Apparently that alerted the 3 reminders, and he moved towards a corner to have his back covered. He spotted them and fired away. All 3 fell dead. And that should be all. There was a ping. Somebody had sent him a private message. He opened it and his jaw dropped. She was gorgeous. She was wearing long pants and a t-shirt on a beach. You're definitely a sexy panda elf. Zula blushed now. She didn't know why she had broken protocol, and she would be in so much trouble if they found out. Yes, it appears so. The only life sign in there is you. She tried to shift the conversation back to work, but again he called her sexy. Oh, yeah, okay. He also tried to focus on the job. Box. Let's see. It's great to have the translator back. Number LV426. He made his way and found the box. The first inspection showed it as transporting Kersey eggs, a harmless delicacy according to the files. Found it. So, that picture, that's you? What do you think? I think I would love to go on a date with you if you don't mind or think I'm too ugly. You're not ugly? Just get back safely and we can go on a date. There was a pause as if she wanted to ask something. Yes? No, I will ask you that when we meet. Zula almost asked him, but she didn't want to seem too desperate. Fair enough. Okay, I need to get a cart and get this box to the ship. I only get 15 minutes left. He looked around and found one. After 5 minutes, he had it on the cart and moved it quickly towards the hangar. He was halfway there when Dutch and his men caught up with him. Need help? Dutch grinned as he came to his side. His power armor dwarfed Jack, and he felt small as Dutch picked up the cart and started to run with it. They reached the hangar with 1 minute to spare. Malcolm came out and helped them secure the box. He saw that Harrigan and Vasquez had already made it there. The only ones missing were Rico and his men. Are we waiting for them? Hell no! Blow the lid! We are safe! Rico laughed between the volleys of fire and explosions on the radio, so they got inside the craft and activated the fumigation as they took off. The whole base was covered in gas. Humanity had learned a long time ago that all bugs have a weakness to poison gas. Jack didn't care. He just looked at the picture quietly, and the others were joking about the mission. The ship slowly took off and made its way towards the mothership, all while they could hear that crazy Rico and his gang of misfits laughing as they reported on the effects. They would stay for a few hours and make sure all the bugs were dead. Normally, they came in after the fumigation. Jack was just smiling as he looked at the picture. He hoped he would be able to meet her. Gray had looked at the reports coming in and opened a link to the humans. Captain Weir? I want to come over and discuss the reports with you if you don't mind. The human captain smiled. No problem. When are you arriving? As soon as possible. I'll bring an aide if you don't mind. No problem. We will be expecting you. Over and out. Gray had cut the transmission and turned to his second in command. Shim, you got the bridge. Ensign Zula, you're coming with me. Bring your desk pad. Zula turned to the captain and immediately stood up. Yes, sir. Thought she was confused. Why her? She pulled the memory pad from her console. It had all the reports on it, and she followed her captain. She was both confused and happy. She might actually meet Jack.